In the study of aquifers, an extremely important relationship is what happens when the hydraulic head of the aquifer declines or increases, and how that affects how much water is actually in the aquifer and is coming out of the aquifer. And this is an extremely important behavior to understand if we're studying, for example, groundwater extraction and pumping, if we're looking at how much water is coming out of an aquifer and what is happening to the hydraulic head field within that aquifer. And I think that you could probably have some intuition on this already, but it's going to be very different if we have a drop in head in a confined aquifer versus an unconfined aquifer. For example, in the unconfined case, where we just have a water table and that water table is at atmospheric pressure, when the head declines, so too does the water table itself. And in effect, the aquifer begins to desaturate as the water table is lowering. The pores are being drained as that water table is coming down. In contrast, in the confined case, where you have an aquifer that's pressurized between two confining units, two aquitards, when the head can decline in this case, but the aquifer can remain saturated. And in this case, the pressure is decreasing, but there's still no place where air has entered. It's still all the pores are filled with water, so it remains saturated. Importantly, in this case, in both of these cases, when the head goes down, water is released from storage in the aquifer. So water is being removed from the aquifer. In the unconfined case, it's draining, but there's something slightly different happening in the confined case, which we will speak about in great detail. Water is released from storage when the head declines in an aquifer. In the unconfined case, as I mentioned, the water that's released from storage is primarily coming from desaturation. So it's literally the draining of the pores via gravity. Where do you think the water is coming from if the head drops in a confined aquifer? It's a bit more interesting. We know that it's remaining saturated. It's not like it's draining and air is entering. In the confined case, the water that's released and coming from storage is primarily due to compressibility. And so the drop of pressure associated with the head drop is causing the water itself to expand a little bit, but it's also impacting the aquifer itself, the solid portion of the aquifer, and causing the grains to realign. And when that happens, water can be expelled from storage, as we will explore in the next videos.